Yes.
Oh, I received a notification. Yeah, the works we screened that time, in our platform was more, independent films, from creative documentary, video art, experimental films from filmmakers from the Arab region. So it was mainly Arab films that the audiences couldn't see before, and thanks to our network with the various institutions and filmmakers, we were allowed to do so. And after the success of that initiative, we wanted to go for a film every week, and it started in, I think, somewhere in June, also, and ended in August 2020. And for instance, it was also a great success actually, because for as an example, Fawzi bin Said's movie Date for Sale that was screened at the time, was seen by more than 6,000 visitors in only 2 days. So
Okay.
and then success after success, we went for different projects. We as we have a project called Media Art Workshop Series, which we used to create every year, since 10 years now, in order to allow young people to come close to the medium and bring experts from all over the world to come and teach them, or maybe at least assist them in their own work. But since the pandemic was there, we tried to go for a new formula. So we decided to call the program Beyond the New Norm, and we opened the door for semi-professional filmmakers from the Arab region. So we have like nearly 15 participants selected, from Morocco, Tunisia, and Egypt, and they are still working. They're gonna work still until September 2001. So we started in January already, and it's going really great. And we had a lot of experts, and Arab, but also international. We had Ali Safi, is a creative documentary filmmaker from Morocco. We had also Hakim El Abbas from Morocco. We had Mohammed Taimour, is a young producer from Egypt, who produced a very short movie that won last year the Cannes, the big prize in Cannes Film Festival. So
Wow.
we have him with us, and he's leading two workshops actually. He already did one somewhere in April, and he's gonna come back, I think, somewhere in the end of July. So yeah, this is a very important project for us, because this is the first time we do this. It's an online workshop, and so somehow it's a visual communication between young filmmakers from the area. We don't know what's going to come out of this, but of course, the program is very clear, and we want to have nearly like from 3 to 4 films produced during this period. We don't know how the outcome will be. Maybe it will be based on recorded, footage, and also found footage, but um, the ideas we already received, and what we see, coming from them, is very, very interesting. So yeah, this is one of the big projects we created during that time, and still. But also, I don't know if I can have the PowerPoint actually, because I don't have hand on it.
Yeah, I was
So we
going
can
to ask.
so we can
Abdulaziz, you
show it
can
to.
you can share your screen. Just go to the below. You will see share screen. You are co-host, and it should be no problem for you to do that.
Host and show. Okay. Let me
Below,
check.
you will see share screen.
It's a green button. It says Bildschirm
Exactly.
freigeben.
I see. Mhm.
Yes. And just choose the.
Okay. So let me drop this into the desktop.
And if there is sound, don't forget before you share your screen to click sound. It's
All
on the
right.
left side.
Can do that. Just 1 second, please. So I just drag the file, or what should I do now?
You just open the file that you want to share, then go to share screen and choose the file.
Okay.
Or just a second.
I think it doesn't work for me actually, but I still can do it, offline, no problem.
If you click the green button and then click the screen window, the Bildschirmfenster, and then you have your full screen, and then you can go from there. You open everything regularly on your desktop. We want to see what you are doing.
Yeah, actually tried everything.
Alhab, if you go to my name, Rakameya, and you see 3 dots, you can choose and make me to host.
Okay.
It doesn't work actually.
Okay.
Is it good like this?
Yes. Yes, I will try.
So I think till we fix this.
Okay, so I continue, no problem.
Yeah, the presentation. I think also that from what you were saying, also there were many potential in collaboration between filmmakers in the region. So can you explain more about it and how this developed and what will be the output at the end of the online programs?
No, actually, basically, we didn't plan nothing, because this was very surprise everybody. But what we had is we had a huge database of works, since that we had since the beginning of our projects, 10 years ago. So we have a big network, a big film database, come from from alternative movies to digital art to video art. So we looked at everything, and then from there we decided which way to go, which topics to go, And this is how it started actually. So with the Arab film for free every day, it wasn't really difficult because we had everything, We had partners, we had films. So what we needed, we had time, so we just had to put everything online, and update our softwares and servers and put everything online actually. That's and also strengthen the collaborations, of course, and have new partners, because we also collaborated with the Palestinian Film Platform, AFAQ also, and others. So it was thanks to the network and the database we had, from since for so many years. Actually, we were able to do that project. But then afterwards, because we didn't know back then how long this pandemic will still take and be. So then when the situation was still unclear, then we started to go for more curatorial projects, based on different topics that we couldn't do on the ground, back then, before the pandemic. So it was a blessing somehow to put all these projects online, especially with the Orientalism projects, actually in Western media. That was for us was very important, to put it online in the way we did. And also the Interzone project was also interesting in this matter of putting everything online. Because we basically reached a more large audience. I'm not going to say more important or more, but various audience. We went beyond our expectations somehow. The feedbacks we got was very important, especially the Interzone project was very, very successful because we got feedback from everywhere, you know. We couldn't imagine. And also the media coverage was very, very interesting.
Yeah, I also would like to encourage our audience to check the website of the Arab Media Lab. It's on the chat, so you can learn more about their different project and different program. And I'm happy that you succeed to do this online program and film screening, and to connect also different filmmakers from the region. Um, uh, I still have question, but for Bettina, I have also like a question, so, because
excuse
yeah,
me, I'm
please.
sorry to interrupt you. It just if you can tell me if it's possible to display the PowerPoint, because I'd like really people to see, you know, what we did so far, maybe short, you know. If not, you know, you just tell me and then I can go on afterwards, you know, just explaining that.
The file that you sent is 1 gigabyte, and it takes time to open it.
Yeah.
I will tell you when it's ready.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Marta, and thank you, Abdelaziz, so much for this introduction about your work. And now when I'm thinking about online and how the online started to take our life, so I'm thinking also now, Bettina, about the interference. So you, as the director of Interference Festival in Tunis, how did you decided to adapt with the new situation, like to present a different edition of Interference during the pandemic? And for you, what changed and what did you try to make actually?
Accidentally, I prepared a little presentation. Should I share it?
Yes, please.
Just a second. Just to introduce, but that has already been done, so we can skip that. I would like to share with you, let's say, 2 or 3 examples from the framework that I'm doing with Ayman in Tunis. And there's Elham has been referring to Interference, International Light and Media Art Festival, but we are doing as well a decentral project, because we are quite interested in, as Abdelaziz said, if we are going to a site to get to know a place and not only doing everything in the capital. Maybe that's another part of the discussion we can come later to, but I find that quite important, because working online allows us to be decentral as well. For all our projects, they are embedded in some kind of learning environments. One is closely intertwined with Interference, so basically year-round we have activities for people that want to get acquainted, that want to acquaint themselves with either artistic production, with art mediation, with curatorial research, or whatever. So we offer sequences of workshops so that people can be trained to work on these projects. And as Elham said, there is this Tassawa Curatorial Studios project. Since 2019, we host jointly with the Goethe Institute in Tunis a year-long training program for curators who want to work on art in context. All that has been highly affected by the pandemic. Because if we look at Interference, what is the feature festival, it has been going on for 5 years now. It's a festival that works in public space. It brings together a lot of people, all kinds of media, and you can think of 5,000 people in the Medina in one night, up to 20,000 people in the Medina for a night. So this is it really became something that is a hype for us as a team working on it, but as well for the audience. We try to care very well for the audience, so we focus a lot on art mediation and on the training of art mediators, so that we have, and of course that leads to good results. We try to care as well for our artists, and we very often produce jointly with them with the support from people on site. As I said, we have some kinds of workshops where we prepare people how to work with artists, and then usually that works out very nicely. This is this kind of workshops. They are not only training workshops, they are as well all kinds of discussions. So how do we want to work to how do we want to live? We consider our work as well as part of the development of a democratic culture. Last year, in 2020, it would have been time for interference. It's a biennial project, but it didn't happen. But we tried to come up with something in addition. So you can see here that we did an online exhibition with Tassau Curatorial Collective. So the participants of the Tassau Curatorial Studios. I will talk a little bit about that. We did some smaller projects that we called interference series. So to work in small frameworks with small groups and of course smaller audience. I will talk a little bit about our Young Masters program and the Curatorial Studios. They are actually until Saturday they are open for the third round. So in case anybody is interested, please join us. The first example I brought was called Digital Shift. It's a program that was based on a cooperation with an organization that is called Digital Impact Lab, located in Bremen, in the north of Germany, where I teach at the university, and that's how we established the contact. What we did is we trained people in using all kinds of mapping tools and technologies, so that they know how to build digital aliases of an environment, of a building, and then play with that. In order to do so, we had simultaneous workshops in Tunis and in Bremen. We used Kinect to cover the entire scene, so to be visually connected, and we had several microphones in the space so that we really were able to somehow had the feeling that we were able to talk to each other. All this resulted in all kinds of experimentation, and as you can see here, we followed the hygiene protocols, and then it resulted as well in 2 public presentations. In Tunis, it was a big hit. Even under the circumstances of the pandemic, we were able to have some kind of festival atmosphere with as many hygiene controllers as art mediators, but it worked. So it was really fun. People enjoyed it, and we were able to at least to have a little something in those days where almost nothing was happening. In general, the rule was in general, the rule in the preparation was to stay online with the big groups and only for personal experimentation or for experimentation in small groups to meet, and that somehow worked out good throughout the process. Same procedure we took to our Young Masters program. We thought, what can we do? As we knew that we can't do a big festival, we said, let's focus a little bit more on our Young Masters programs. Let's extend the time that we spend with people and see if we can come to some kind of even better results than we had before. We had an open call, asked people to apply for it, and those who have been selected by an international jury. And why do I enhance that? Because this will help later for these young artists to be invited to other projects around the world. And for us, this was was a key factor to keep that that possibility open. That we are not that we are not only producing for Tunisia. So these people that are selected, they get a young curator at their site that help them in development and production. We accompanied that with online and on-site meetings with the same strategy. Meetings in big groups we handled online, and smaller groups and production groups, experimentation, up to 3 or 4 people at a certain point we had in small groups. We added a session of mentoring, so we had experienced artists from the region to join those experimentations. We supported production and so on. At the end, we had a video walk with visiting curators, and this is one of the examples where we what we will continue to do, because and then maybe I have seen there is some Tasawwur people in the audience. Maybe you can post the links so that people can follow on their own. What we did at the end is we had really it had been postponed twice, but in March we were able to put this on display, and we had the Young Master program on site in 10 different locations throughout the Medina, and from there and the audience was quite excited. We started what was good was the half-year project actually helped us to come to better results. So we will take from this experience that we will spend longer time on the Young Master program, on the development process. We did a second project. It was titled Electrical Disorder. As interference, we traditionally try to be a zero waste project, and with all the digital tools that were hyped in the pandemic, we said let's look at what happens at the dead end when it comes to e-waste, and we invited artists to experiment with a non-functional digital tools. Again, we had experimentation, production, display, art mediation, and we had international visiting curators at the end. This was a production where you can see that we had a remote production. That was as well something new, and probably something that we will continue with if artists cannot travel. So we had an artist sitting as well in Germany, and we had a team working for him and with him in Tunisia, and they built an art installation out of destroyed screens. They treated them chemically and mechanically, and developed an installation from that. With another artist worked with CDs, built a kind of structure, and there was digital media material projected on it and displayed a little bit in space. You can see that there is something arriving on the wall behind the object, and the object was turning, so that became a very interesting display as well. So artists were in the beginning not so excited, but when they started to experiment, they actually were quite happy with it. What we did at the end, again, because we want to have that international network open for all our young artists, so we had a video walk, and what we did is we had prepared material and live material. We had people walking with their mobile phones in the Medina to the sites, talking with the artists, and had a good mix of impressions that led to the situation that by now 70% of the artists got an invitation to go somewhere else. And this is what we, besides that we want to produce with our artists, we would like them to be distributed, and that actually worked out very well. That's why we will continue to do these kind of video walks, because as you can, for instance, in this session, we had people from the Netherlands, from Slovenia, from Russia, from Germany, from Mexico, and from Cairo, and we would never be able to invite them all to come to Tunis due to the expense, and by doing so, we created possibilities that we don't want to miss in the future. Electrical disorder, some more impressions. A program that came up a little bit later but focused on the same subject was the on-off program of Tasawwur Curatorial Studios. It became the same subject, dealing with e-waste, became the subject for an online exhibition program. And again, Tasawwur crowd, please share the link. I know, Elhem, it would make you smile because it was the artist that was invited by Elhem, Catherine Bihar, a very interesting artist from the US. Hope to see her in Tunis, if not this year, then next year. Other artists, so we had an online exhibition program. We had a month full of lectures, talks, discussions, I don't know what. And at the end, we really had the feeling that we did a good exhibition together, although there was nothing although nothing was put in place. We did some kind of quizzing as well. The experience we take from that is that in the future exhibitions, we will enhance the online presence of the exhibition. We will make sure that all our activities are online from the beginning. We will have online art mediation. So basically, that what we learned in the pandemic will take to the future exhibitions as well. Here, a little summary of what we try, how we look at it from today. Still tired from the pandemic experience, but still happy, or also happy that we learned some things that we didn't expect to learn. And as I already said, for the exhibitions, we will focus more on the online part of it, and we'll try to provide them more in a broader, more intensive sense, and include this kind of online activities as well. And for Tasawwur Curatorial Studios, the going online was such a success that all future activities with Tasawwur Curatorial Studios will be online studios. So through the experience with the possibilities of online learning and even online cooperation, we thought that we profit more from being international than we suffer from the digital tools. So we changed the entire outline of the program and turned it into a year-long online learning program with 2 meeting sessions in Tunis, 2 yearly meeting sessions in Tunis. That goes as well with the idea of more focused travel, or with less travel, or with the green policies that we all we all look more closer to what we are doing after what we experienced. Yeah, I told you. We will start a webzine on this kind of digital art, light and media art activities in the Suana region. If you want to contribute, we'll be online from October on, and I think that's it. Thanks. I hope there are some questions.
Thank you so much, Bettina. And I see that like the online was one of the best solution for us, and like for me also, like to be part of Tasawwur and to be part and to see also the interference and the digital shift program that you did. It's also like great actually. Thank you so much. And I think now I believe it's like time to go to a different point of view to see. And for me, as a fan for the New York University Abu Dhabi Art Center, I enjoyed many online performance during the pandemic. It was sometimes for me, although maybe it's not music and performance is not my field, but it was for me like a space to learn and a space to like see something different about different performance. So I would like, Bill, to ask you about your experience to open the performing and music event for more audience, especially that I know that New York, that the art center is based in Abu Dhabi, but I believe that during the pandemic, when you open this to more audience online as an expert, what did you take or learn from this experience, and especially for the future?
Great. Well, thank you for the invitation and thank you for coming to so many of our online shows. I am going to, I think, do two things to frame the conversation. I've just got a 1-minute video that we produced a little over a year ago. We just finished our 6th season. So this was something that we had created at the beginning of the 6th season to celebrate the first 5 years. Almost all of the video footage in it came from our own shows. So I think that will really help to introduce our aesthetic, and then I'll share some images and talk about how we made the transition. So so let me try the screen share here. All right. So that was just a quick kind of overview so that you could see the internationalism, the sort of very contemporary aesthetic, and the way that many of the artists that we're doing across discipline, music, dance, theater, film, spoken word, are often working in sort of hybrid spaces. What I'll do now is just pull up some images that sort of trace us through the beginning of COVID to where we sort of went to. And so we'll start with, this is an image of the campus. NYU Abu Dhabi is a 10-year-old university. For the past 6 years, we've had our campus on Sariyat Island, which has been designated as the cultural district for Abu Dhabi. You can see we're a residential college. The red and the blue that you see in the bottom corner are the tops of the theaters. There's a high line that traverses the entire campus. And then the smaller windows that you see are student residences, and the large windows in the bottom are the entrances to the classes. We have a number of venues that are the finest venues in the country that we haven't used for over a year and a half now. This is the Red Theater. This is a 700-seat proscenium theater. This was a performance by Mason Zayed, the Palestinian American stand-up comedian. We have the Blue Hall, this is the Black Box rather, which is a flexible space. This was a 27-hour continuous concert by the Swiss pianist Nick Berich that was in the round that opened our 2nd season. There was a video installation as well as continuous music for 27 hours. This is the Blue Hall. It's a 150-seat recital hall where a lot of faculty and student recitals take place. We also have a contemporary cinema series called Cinema Na that takes place in there. And then we use the East Plaza, which is right in front of the Art Center, for our largest, more festival shows. This was a Filipino disco show that we did a number of years back. And that's up to about 1,000 to 1,200 people capacity. We found out that we were closing. The UAE made the decision fairly early. So our last in-person concert was on March 2nd. It was a jazz quartet, John Beasley's Mughasra Quartet. And then by the end of that week, we were calling all of the artists to tell them not to come while we figured out what was going on. One of the events that is really central to the Art Center is an event that actually pre-existed and that we adopted and made part of our programming, which is Rooftop Rhythms. It's a monthly poetry and music open mic that takes place at the end of every month. It's got some of our largest community participation. There are artists who perform month after month and have done so for over up to 9 years now. And there are a lot of people who are stepping on stage for the very first time. It's one of the key ways that we connect with the local artist community. And at the end of March of 2020, they were going to celebrate their 8th anniversary. People were still in that very immediate crisis mode where they had no idea what to do. Emotions were running high. And we felt like an open mic was really essential. And so we worked out a way to turn it into an online, virtual, real-time open mic with the stage area being essentially in Zoom and then broadcasting from that onto Facebook and YouTube and eventually onto our website. And we found that our audiences were we were getting peak audiences of 200, 250 people, the same number of people at any one time that would actually be at the in-person events. But then we kept the archive up and quickly we saw ourselves getting thousands and thousands of views, 10, 20,000 people seeing our open mics. And I think that was a light bulb moment for us. And we realized that the reach that we could have is really huge if we were in the online space. We started getting international press coverage because we were fairly early to move online. So CNN covered it, Euronews covered it. And also because the UAE is such an international place that's also fairly transient, we were able to call back artists who used to live in the community but might have moved elsewhere in the world. And so that now we've spent a year online has been really a signature program for us. You'll also see the collaboration with Brooklyn Poetry Slam at the bottom. One of the things that we started asking ourselves is what are the things that you can do online that you can't do in the offline world? And one of those is that we can't kind of commingle our spoken word scene with other parts of the world. So one of the things we've done the past year is partner with other organizations like Mind Over Matter in the UK, Brooklyn Poetry Slam, Southern Fried Poets, and done duet poetry events and haiku slams. So we've really been able to grow our artistic community. We've been able to expose the local artists to artists in other communities. Next, we introduced a series called Reconnect. From the beginning, all of our venues have really great archival video systems. We archive almost everything we do in the indoor venues. And there were certain shows, this was 47 Soul, that was their UAE debut. And our agreement with them, we live streamed it at the time, but then it went into the archives and was not available. We realized that, especially in those early moments, people really needed a release. So the beginning of April, we actually rebroadcast the performance by Mason Zayed and then brought her to do a live real-time conversation. So we tried to mix archival and in-the-moment material. We did the same thing with 47 Soul. I think that was a period we realized that what people needed to do was dance around their living rooms. And that turned into a weekly series that we ran for about 3 months. Every week on a Wednesday, we always had the artist speaking to the audience so that there was a way that we could kind of speak up to the current moment and have the artists active in the chat. It was also a way for us, quite frankly, to make sure that artists were still making money. I think we realized that the touring economy had vanished almost overnight. And so we offered each of the artists a small honorarium to be part of these broadcasts. And it was a way of us just trying to kind of keep the economy moving for artists who we're close to. This is from a rock gospel folk opera that we commissioned, Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower by Toshi Reagan. We had presented our very first event was a concert version of it, and then this was from the world premiere of the fully staged opera. Toshi really challenged us when we asked us if we could bring this out of the archives and said, yes, but I want all of the other institutions that have been supporting Parable over the years to also be a part of it. So that really encouraged us to create some international collaborations. So we all joined forces with the Singapore International Festival, with the Center for the Art of performance at UCLA, with Arts Emerson in Boston, with UNC, Chapel Hill, Carolina Performing Arts, and we all pointed to the same real-time event. We ended up with like 16,000 people watching the event. It was incredibly powerful to not only experience the work, but experience work with audiences from about 13 different time zones. We eventually got up, and then this was during Ramadan. We were looking for material that also might be appropriate for the holiday. This was a durational performance called Holocene by Lars John, which was a commentary on global warming and rising water levels. And so we did present certain durational work, like the 27-hour concert. We had about 6.5 hours of this. Holocene was about 5 hours. We also had Sheikh Mahmoud Tahami and Fatih Salama doing the Sufism versus Modernism concert. Egyptian artists who had been here, as well as the Alberta Festival with the Ministry of Culture, who also supported the initiative. And one of the artists in that was actually Cairo Steps. We then started feeling like presenting archival material had run its course, and we really wanted to present real-time work. So the first one was a family event. Kid Koala was the first artist we had to cancel in March. He's someone that we had been planning to bring back with a new turntable, live puppet, cinema piece. We had done in an earlier season a robot dance party where we had a lobby full of cardboard boxes and families in aluminum foil and googly eyes, and families making robot outfits out of all of these found materials. And so we worked with them to turn it into an online dance party where people made the robot costumes at home. It was in September when it's really too hot to do anything outside with your family. He DJ'd while people were making their robots, and then they could turn on their cameras and it was interactive. And then people actually sent in their videos of themselves dancing in their costumes. And then we had a follow-up event. So again, that using the two-way reality of Zoom and saying, what can we do now that we couldn't do that is not as passive as the sort of broadcast approach during the Reconnect series. We also really started investing in projects that were created specifically for distance experience. So Tanya Hori is an artist that was here in an earlier season with a micro theater piece called Garden Speak. She had another piece that was a one-on-one theater piece called As Far As My Fingertips Take Me, that was about the experience of being a refugee, living outside of your home, and she had converted it to an online performance by Basel Zara, and it was for a single audience member, real-time live with Basel, telling a story. In the in-person version, you actually stick your arm through a hole in the wall, and he's telling you the story and drawing on your arm. And they found a way to create that same multi-sensory approach in a online Zoom experience. We also worked with 600 Highwaymen who had been here in a previous season. They've created a 3-part piece called 1,000 Ways. The first part is a telephone call, where we also knew people needed a break from screens. In this piece, 2 strangers would call in, they would get assigned to somebody whose name they would never know. There was a recorded voice that would prompt interaction, not a conversation, not small talk, but a way of getting to know a stranger, especially at a time that people were still under quarantine. People had no way to meet somebody new. And this was just a moment of escape, a moment of imagination that really captured the moment. And there will be 2 other parts of the piece. One that will be a face-to-face encounter by 2 people in a room together, also with the sort of prompted interactions. And then eventually, when we can all gather for in-person events, there's a part 3. We also partnered with a lot of other organizations. This was a festival that we partnered with the Korean Cultural Center, Aktam Gwangchil, who are an incredible group from Korea, and they filmed a concert for us at this historic temple. And I just checked, and that was broadcast and premiered on YouTube, including a conversation with the artist, and we've had 34,000 views for that. Over the course of the past year, our video audience has grown exponentially. We've had over 1 million video views for our different programs. This was a concert by Boom Dewan, who are a group that mixes Khaliji pro diving music with jazz, and we commissioned a collaboration with Induduzo Makatini. It was supposed to be in person when we thought that by January, I'm sure, we'll be back in person, and we were wrong. But they found a way to record in 3 different countries. So Ghazi is now living in Abu Dhabi, where he also teaches at NYU. The percussionists were in Kuwait, and Induduzo was in South Africa. They each recorded locally, sent the files back and forth, and we ended up stitching together a 25-minute suite called Minarets, which had its world premiere. And then again, we wrapped that pre-recorded content with a live conversation. And so that has really, I think, paved the way for a lot of the direction that we've been following, to accept the fact that there are things that we can't do anymore, but also really look at the possibility of what's opened up by the technology. We did another one-on-one theater project called Theater for One, Here We Are, where using not Zoom, but using a very specialized platform, people had a one-on-one real-time live play about 5 minutes long. But it's just you and the actor looking into one another's eyes, and it's a kind of focused attention that you never have in the theater. And we were so excited by how that worked. We're actually planning for next year to commission a new group of playwrights from a completely other part of the world to try to bring together the technology and use it as a way for us to invest in kind of in a different theater community that we want to know better. We want to know the artists better. We want to give them access to our audiences. But again, working in the online space, those audiences are also global audiences. And we, in general, for all of these events, we marketed the programs just like we would do any of our other real-time events. We had our full PR campaign, we had full digital marketing campaign, we got press coverage as if they were in-person events. So every time we had a new show in our season, we would get 10, 20, 30 press pieces about them. And a big part of our work, since we are a university, is also integrating the work of the artists with the rest of the university. So all of those artists also had visits to classes at the university. And because classes were online, synchronous and asynchronous, we actually expanded our curricular integration. We had about 54 class visits, I think, last year by our visiting artists. We had workshops, we had career chats, we had virtual dinners where we brought different artists together with members of our community. So we wanted people to feel like they're not just delivering video content, but they actually came away feeling like they had experienced something of what it means to be at the Art Center at NYU Abu Dhabi. So that for me is the thing that we've learned, is that there are certain things that actually work better online. I think the classroom integration in many ways work better. Our career chats work better. Again, they exist on our YouTube channel, and some of them have had thousands and thousands of views. Working with schools around the UAE who often had trouble getting permission to do a class trip to come to the Art Center, we would create online events, live and pre-recorded, and make those available. And so those are things that we're going to be carrying through whenever it is that we get to be in person. We know our fall, we're going to continue to be online based on the sort of the guidance in the UAE. So it is something that we'll continue to explore and experiment in.
Yeah, I think I believe you are right. Like the online will continue with us for some time. We don't know till when, but it will be with us till we know exactly what will be the situation. But thank you, Bill, so much for your presentation. Actually, I have many questions, but I would like to open also the question for the audience to ask. So if you have any question, I already have question for Abdelaziz and Bettina and Bill, but if you have any question.
Is it possible to continue now with the presentation, or just the?
Yeah, I'm checking now with Marta.
Let's try.
I can try from my side. I don't know what's the problem. We are doing this.
Let's see. And tell me. Yes. All right.
All right.
Wait. Of course. I will try that. Just a second.
Do you have a keynote? No.
No. Yeah. So. Full screen.
All right.
Okay, let's see.
I'd love to open it in Keynote, but it's okay.
Okay. Which?
All right. Just scroll down. Just this.
Just tell me where to stop.
Yeah. It's just the classical activities we used to do. Now stop there.
All right.
Before.
Okay, just a second.
So this is one of the latest projects we are still running until the end of this month. It's called Tangier Interzone, with the collaboration of many partners. And this project is around, the beat generation times in Tangier, actually, in Morocco, in the beginning of the 50s until the end of the 70s, actually, there were several writers and artists from the US and also from Europe who came to Tangier in order to look for the Moroccan dream, somehow, and led by a writer named Paul Boys. Actually, I think some of you know him. And for us, it was very important to have a Moroccan point of view on this, because there was always like discussions in the Western countries, around the interzone or the beat generation times in Tangier, not always from the Western perspective, and not always they mentioned the role of the local writers and artists from Morocco and from Tangier who got influenced and also influenced the movement, back then, and you were very hardly mentioned, So we wanted to curate this project. It was this situation allowed us, to go for it, because it's difficult to do on the ground, actually, because it is a complex subject, but also it needs a lot of support also, and organization if you do it on the ground. This is our goal for the future, but we started with this now. And it was important, as I said, to show the other point of view, around the movement and etc. So yeah, it's still running until the end of the month. And I can show you a teaser, actually. If you just scroll down. Can you please scroll down? Yes. So you can play this video. Yes, just click.
It's not playing. Second, no.
Should be working. Yeah, that on play, yeah.
Yeah, it is, but it's,
I think there is like a technical problem.
You can't play quick time. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give me a hand on this?
I have question, but I would love to open the discussion with the audience also. So the audience, because we are running out of time, and I think that it's my fault somehow. So I would like. Is it working?
no, we don't have the quick time.
But I can you try? Can I share it from here?
Sure.
Please?
Yes.
All right.
You can also like share the trailer in the chat if you want.
It says now it's working, but I have to quit and reopen again. So I don't know.
معلش بس it's
Is it working?
I think no. I think like maybe you can share the link in the chat,
Okay.
so all the people can see it.
Okay.
And also like if anyone have a question, please feel free. I have many questions, but I would like to give the discussion to the audience. So.
All right. I will send now. I will share the link of the enter zone.
Yeah, and so did you share it? Okay. So maybe I have many questions. I don't know what to ask now because like time is running, but let me ask you, Abdelaziz, about the future. How do you see, from your point of view, the future of the online education program in North Africa? Like, how do you see it, and especially how we can connect during in the MENA region together as a filmmaker? So now we saw the point of view of performance and music. How the pandemic it happened with them, how they found solution. We also see about Tunis and interference and tasawwur. So from your point of view, the Arab Media Lab or other activity that you are doing, so what is the future of the online educational that you imagine how it will be? You are muted, I think.
Yeah. From our side, we were always looking for collaborations, even before, we were always trying to reach for collaborations with other projects in the region, especially independent ones. What is important, what's very important, what happened with this pandemic actually, is it opened the eyes for many people to look at alternative projects in the region, right? And I think we should not forget about this. We should go on. It's not because we had plenty of time. We wanted to look for alternative things than Netflix or big centers or whatever. And then we looked to alternative projects. I think we should not forget about that, and we should continue, because it's important to have big projects in the region, but at the same time, it's important also to support small initiatives, and especially that now with new technologies, with this in the region, there is a fascination with technology, which is mixed with deep experimentation, with trance, music, silence, poetry, even silence sometimes. So all these things makes experimental works very interesting, that can reach much more larger audience than it's in the region. And the beautiful thing about media arts, alternative representations, digital art, it can be quick. It can be quick in reaching, be more universal, and it's. I think it's important to look at these experiences, and also try to work with each other, because there are isolated projects here and there, and I think it's important now to look at them and support them.
Yeah, you are completely right, and I believe that connecting everything, because there is different project happening in the region, but separately. I would like to now, because I would also have like a small the video prophecy performance. It's made by Muhammad Allam. He's an Egyptian artist, and he prepared this performance for us. So I would like to continue the talk, but in the same time, because of the time, so I would love to give to present also Muhammad Allam. Muhammad, are you here?
Yes, he is here.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Muhammad.
Hi, Ilham. Can you hear me well?
Yes, very well. Thank you. So Mohammed studied at the Art Education Faculty of Halwan University in Cairo. He's using different mediums such as video performance and sound. Also, he's interested in different form of performativity, and he playfully create narratives. His work also explore relationship between human and objects and the physical environment and context that brings them both together. He has participated as an artist in many events since 2003. On the other side, he is the co-founder and the Cairo-based the Cairo-based artist initiative Midrar for contemporary art, which aim at the promotion of contemporary artistic practice of young artists in Egypt. So today, Muhammad made the video prophecy performance for us. But before playing, I would love to give some credit also. So it's the video prophecy is a video performance by Muhammad Allam, filmed by Bassem Al-Qasabi. All video and audio artwork under Creative Commons licenses. So I think maybe it's time to enjoy a performance, and then get back with more like a relaxing time for questions. Thank you. Is it working, Marta, or shall I try to share?
Try to share.
Okay.
Is there sound, Ilham?
Ilham, there is no sound. Elham, I believe there is no sound.
I'm so sorry. I think there is no. I just received that there is no voice, no music. Thank you, Alain, for the performance, and we are really sorry for the internet and problem that happens, but it's for me, I love the performance. So yes, so I think like now after our discussion, I believe that maybe we need another event to talk in more details about all the question, because as we say, time flies actually. So and so that's why we need more time to talk about. Thank you so much. Another time, thank you so much for all your time. And thank you, Alain, so much for the performance, because he actually, Alain did the performance especially for Rethink MENA event. And thank you, Bassem Al-Qasabi, for filming and all the preparation. Like now, I think it's time for closing. But before closing, I would like to say thank you so much for Abdelaziz Taleb from the Arab Media Lab. Thank you for all your input. Thank you, Bettina Pels, for interference, Tasawwur, and more projects to come. Thank you, Bill Bragan, for the Art Center and for everything that you are doing that like I see all the time online. So it's like it's great to keep going on this pandemic with like a lot of positive and energetic activity. Thank you so much, and yeah, please. I believe we will do another event, but so we can talk, because the question didn't finish, and I need to finish the question. And thank you, Rakamia, and thank you, Digital Arabian Network, and also for Passant Helmi to giving us the space to present our event. So thank you all, and have a lovely afternoon. And yeah. I can't hear you, Abdelaziz.
Thank you very much, and I hope we can meet again soon. And I would like to see more from Alam, actually. It's interesting what he's doing.
Yeah, his work is interesting. His website is on the chat also. Okay. And Alam, he is doing a great work, and he has a great video archive, actually. And he's now working on presenting, on preparing a new project. So it will be great to connect together.
Elham, thank you very much, and sorry for the technical problems. Berlin internet crashed because of the heat, I guess. So
no problem at all.
Yes, but next time there will be no problem with internet. I promise you that. See you soon, and have a nice day.
I'm organizing digital markets since 2010, and there should be always something.
Yeah, so I commissioned a logo this past year that I've been thinking about for a while, which is actually what's on my mug that kind of speaks to that. It's definitely inshallah. So we can say definitely, but you know, inshallah.
Inshallah. Mohammed, thank you very much for your work. It's a pleasure to hear that.
Thank you for having me. And I was thinking to upload the video so for everyone, so can people watch it in a proper way. So once I upload it, I will send you all the link, so you can watch it.
We will share it with the participants, definitely.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for the invite, Elham. And thank you. Great to be on the panel with both of you, Bettina and Abdelaziz.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, really.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye,
See
bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.